The story of Venetian plague ships is a fascinating chapter in the history of public health and maritime quarantine. During the late Middle Ages and the Renaissance, Venice was a bustling hub of commerce and trade, with ships constantly arriving from distant lands. This made the city particularly vulnerable to the spread of infectious diseases, notably the plague. In response to the recurring outbreaks, Venice pioneered some of the earliest and most effective quarantine measures to protect its population. The concept of quarantine, derived from the Italian 40 giorni, meaning 40 days, was established by Venice in the 14th century as a response to the Black Death, which ravaged Europe and killed a significant portion of the continent's population. The idea was to isolate ships, cargo, and passengers suspected of carrying the plague for a period of 40 days to ensure that the disease did not spread to the general population. This practice was based on the understanding that the plague had an incubation period, and by isolating potential carriers, the city could prevent new infections. Venice constructed dedicated quarantine stations known as Lazarettos on islands in the Venetian lagoon. The first such facility, the Lazaretto Vecchio, was established in 1423 on the island of Santa Maria di Nazareth. This island was chosen for its isolation and proximity to the main shipping routes. The Lazaretto Vecchio provided accommodation for sailors and passengers, as well as facilities for the disinfection of cargo and the disposal of contaminated materials. Over time, the island was expanded and fortified to better serve its purpose. The process of quarantine involved several stages. When a ship arrived in Venice from a region known to be affected by the plague, it was required to anchor at a designated location and fly a yellow flag to signal that it was under quarantine. Health officials, known as plague doctors, would board the ship and inspect the crew and passengers for signs of illness. If any cases of the plague were suspected, the ship, its passengers, and its cargo would be transferred to the Lazaretto for further observation and treatment. During the quarantine period, those in isolation were subject to strict regulations. They were not allowed to leave the Lazaretto, and contact with the outside world was severely restricted. The Lazarettos were equipped with basic medical facilities, where plague doctors and other medical personnel attempted to treat the sick. However, medical knowledge at the time was limited, and treatments were often ineffective. The primary goal was to contain the disease rather than cure it. The Lazaretto Vecchio soon became insufficient to handle the volume of ships and passengers requiring quarantine, leading to the establishment of a second quarantine station, the Lazaretto Nuovo, in 1468. This new facility was larger and better equipped, reflecting the growing importance of quarantine in Venice's public health strategy. The Lazaretto Nuovo was designed to handle both people and goods, with separate areas for the isolation of individuals and the fumigation of cargo. The island was equipped with large warehouses where goods could be spread out and exposed to air and sunlight to kill any pathogens. Quarantine measures in Venice were not limited to the Lazarettos. The city's government also implemented a range of other public health measures to control the spread of the plague. These included the monitoring of the city's population for signs of illness, the establishment of plague hospitals within the city, and the enforcement of strict sanitary regulations. For example, the disposal of waste and the maintenance of clean living conditions were rigorously enforced to reduce the risk of infection. The Venetian quarantine system proved to be remarkably effective in controlling the spread of the plague. While the city still experienced outbreaks, the severity and frequency of these outbreaks were significantly reduced compared to other European cities. Venice's success in managing the plague through quarantine measures became a model for other cities and states, and the principles of quarantine were adopted across Europe and beyond. The legacy of Venice's quarantine measures extends beyond the control of the plague. The city's approach to public health laid the groundwork for modern quarantine practices and contributed to the development of epidemiology and the understanding of infectious diseases. The Lazarettos of Venice stand as a testament to the city's innovative and proactive response to one of history's most devastating diseases. Today, the islands of Lazaretto Vecchio and Lazaretto Nuovo are significant historical sites, offering a glimpse into the past and the early efforts to combat the spread of infectious diseases. They serve as reminders of the importance of quarantine and public health measures in protecting populations from epidemics and pandemics. In summary, the story of Venetian plague ships and the institution of quarantine measures is a remarkable example of early public health intervention. Venice's innovative approach to isolating ships and their passengers helped to control the spread of the plague and set a precedent for future public health practices. The city's commitment to quarantine and the establishment of dedicated facilities played a crucial role in safeguarding its population and maintaining its position as a major center of commerce and trade during a time of great uncertainty and danger. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history, exploring the fascinating story of Venetian plague ships and the birth of quarantine. We hope you enjoyed learning about how these early measures helped shape modern public health practices. Before you go, we have some exciting things to share with you. Check out our merch store for exclusive designs inspired by historical events like this one. If you're a fan of captivating stories, don't miss our latest album featuring original music. Visit the links in the description to explore our merch and album. Your support helps us continue to bring you more amazing content. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks again for watching, and see you in the next video.
Failure once haunted my soul, but now they're just footsteps.